talking about how I ain't drunk in a while, and I had a little drink last week. I want to talk about tools that people have that they potentially don't even realise.
I heard a new way of dealing with social media. So many people are on social media when they really don't need to be on social media. And that's why we do all of this stuff, because we just want to be accepted. We just want to be loved. Woo! Back in the lab.
Yes.
Let's leak the intel. Episode 7, season 1. How you been, Alf?
Oh, good. Heavy week last week.
Heavy week.
And it's funny because the episode before, or maybe the episode previous, I was talking about how I ain't drunk in a while. And I had a little drink last week.
Haram.
Yeah, the demons got the better of me. But it was for a good cause, once in a lifetime experience.
Right.
I went to a ski festival called Snowbox, did some skiing, had a little party, made some good memories. But nothing heavy, nothing silly. So we're back this week. Was training first thing on Tuesday.
Bulking off the demons. Business as usual.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta play. It was saying I had booked for like over a year. So...
Oh, long time then.
Yeah, long time. And it come around. You know, one of them things, it just comes around. And I was like, oh, I'm too busy bulking right now, but I kind of got to do this. Do you know what I mean?
No, I completely agree with you. I think also there's nothing wrong with taking a week, 2 weeks, even a month sometimes.
To be fair, I did keep it pretty worky though. I vlogged the whole trip, which I'm going to drop once it's all cut, if I think about it.
There we go.
You know what I mean? I networked a lot as well.
Brilliant
I met quite
stuff.
a few people.
Brilliant stuff.
Yeah. So...
all in all,
yeah, pretty successful, good memories, a few good connections in the phone book. Yeah.
Can't complain.
How about yourself, bro? Because I ain't seen you.
I know it's been a while since we've been in the lab. I've been fighting the gulag. I've been in the gulag on my own journey. I've been doing good, taking time with family, just being there as much as possible, being there and taking care of business, really, focusing on work a lot and just thinking about the next steps, elevation, and just learning, listening to lots of audiobooks at the moment.
Yeah.
Just
what are you listening to at the moment?
I'm listening to, I can't remember the author's name. The book's called Influence.
Oh, I know. I've heard of it.
You heard of that book? It's a good book. Just talks about how we can psychologically influence people, and how we often divert to short-term thinking to make decisions more often than we even realize. And so sometimes we can make a decision thinking that we've come away as the winner, but in reality, our psychology has just been hacked.
Okay. I like it.
We've come off a cropper. So it's an interesting book, both to make you aware about the shortcomings of your brain, but also about how you can be more influential based on how you carry yourself and how you present things.
It sounds like a book big on awareness then.
Big on awareness.
Psychology,
absolutely. Awareness. I like psychology books.
Yeah, they're good.
It's a bit of a hobby of mine. Didn't love it enough to study at a university, but at the same time, it's definitely a chunky subject that I like to sink into every now and again. So
yeah, nice.
Just trying to study up, stay fresh, stay sharp.
Stay psychological.
Stay psychological.
Going off that though, to be fair, talking about influence, I think that would be a good thing to go off, obviously, because today we wanted to talk about social media and the benefits and also the disadvantages, and obviously making the most out of social media in terms of business or influence as such. So yeah, I think that'd be a good start to this episode.
I think I want to go broader than social media.
Broader?
I want to just talk about tools.
Oh, tools
in general.
Okay.
We don't have to stick on social media, because what I've noticed, and this relates to awareness, is that when you start looking at the things you do on a day-to-day and the things that you have access to as tools, you begin to see the value in things, even when the perceived social value of them isn't necessarily that high. For example, a jumper. People won't really regard a jumper as that valuable if they know it's from Primark. But if they know the jumper's from Louis Vuitton, all of a sudden, that's a valuable asset you've got on right there. But when you look at a jumper as a tool to keep you warm, in reality, if it's serving its purpose and you step out of the house and you're warm, the tool is serving the purpose. You don't need to complicate it any more than that. I wear a jumper because it's cold outside. I want to keep myself warm so I can handle business. And I think what that does is it takes a lot of the insecurity out of the need to wear something to impress other individuals. You know why you're wearing that jumper.
Yeah, of course.
You don't need to worry about why somebody else thinks you're wearing that jumper, or the fact that somebody thinks you can't afford a jumper that's made by a certain designer. It's a jumper.
Yeah.
I wear it because it keeps me warm. I wear this coat because it keeps me warm. I drive this car because it gets me from A to B.
Yeah. Well, that would be your initial thought as a human, right? Like your initial thought would be, all right, I'm going out tonight. I'm going to be cold potentially. Let me put on a jumper. After that initial thought, you may then think, oh, okay, let me put on a nice jumper.
Exactly.
And then start thinking about it. But like you say, the initial tool is to keep yourself warm under that jacket.
Exactly. And don't get it twisted. We can always find utility for a designer jumper or a designer suit. You wouldn't wear a suit necessarily if you're going to do shopping in the supermarket. But if you're going to a network event, it's going to be appropriate to you to pick up the tool of a suit, a dapper suit, to show up, because in that environment, that tool is fit for purpose.
Yes.
You wouldn't use a hammer when you need a screwdriver. The tool's not fit for purpose. So at the same time, you got to have the awareness of, okay, what tool is best for this situation? And I think when you start looking at, I have a problem, it requires a solution. What tool do I need in order to solve that problem?
Like dive into your toolbox, have a look what's around and see what we got in there to use. Yeah, no, I hear you. And I think that's a very good concept, to be fair, because I feel like, especially in the Western world, us humans over this side of the world, we have the ability to access so many tools. And I feel like a big thing in our generation is excuses, right? Like if you have an iPhone and if you have a laptop, you have a world of tools out there on the internet that you can use, whether it's to try and be successful and make money, to lose weight. There is everything out there, and 9 out of 10 times as well is for free. I know we both love Chat GPT, and look right there. There's not one thing that you probably couldn't ask them apart from human emotion. But
absolutely.
Other than that, you can pretty much ask Chat GPT for anything. You want to lose weight? Write me a weight loss plan. They'll do it. The tools are endless out there, and I think people need to realize that.
And that's it. It's, if you need to bang a nail into a wall, you wouldn't go to B&Q and start trying to pick out the best hammer. You'd just be looking for a hammer. And I think when you approach other areas of life with that same mindset, you complicate things a lot less. There is certain times where it's appropriate. And remember nuance, because people like to fall into black and white thinking, and I don't want to push that onto everyone. But what I am saying is that it's very easy to overcomplicate simple things. And oftentimes, the simple solution is the best solution.
Yeah, 100%. It's like we say, we've said it on a few episodes previously, but like psychologically as humans, we just love to complicate things. We like to make things more complex than they are. It is sometimes as simple, like you say, going back to the jumper analogy. You're cold, put on a jumper. Deep down, does it really matter what it is? It may do if you're trying to run a certain status in this world. But other than that, truly it has the same intrinsic value of keeping you warm. There is no other way about it. And I think we could go into more about the business side of things as well. The tools out there available to start a business today is absolutely insane. Like if you think back, I don't know if you've ever spoke to any like old school business people, but the stuff that they used to have to do, and like there weren't no Skype. There weren't no Zoom. If they had to have an international meeting, they had to fly there. All of a sudden, something that we take for granted, which is like a 10-minute, click the link, get on the call, have the conversation, took them 24 hours once upon a time. And people have sometimes, I think, you have the audacity to sit there and make excuses.
Even you go further back than that, it would have taken weeks. It would have taken weeks. You would have had to have taken some sort of cargo ship across the world just to get to another country before planes existed. So again, it's the hedonic treadmill. It's the mind's ability to normalize and climatize to every new thing that is released to society. When ChatGPT came out, it was like the best thing since sliced bread. Now, GPT-4's released.
Yeah, V4. I've been using it.
Really? You bought some tokens?
Yeah, I've been using the tool. But even that, I find it crazy. I know me and you know about it. But when I'm going out on my day to day and I'm like looking at people, like just doing human research, you know what I mean? Seeing what they're up to. A lot of people don't even know what it is still. And it's kind of crazy. It's actually kind of scary that people could be in a bubble as such and not be aware of something that's so powerful that's out there. Because the person that's walking down the street, maybe to their job that they don't like, and they're thinking about a new career and a new path, yet again, they're not aware what's in their own toolbox. They have the tool. I don't have my phone on me. They have the tool. They have it. Open it, swipe up. Instead of going on Instagram, which yet again is another useful tool, and we'll get into that after this, but instead of going on Instagram, go out there into this world. Access your toolbox. I would say the biggest valuable toolbox is www. The World Wide Web. What is not out there is absolutely ridiculous. If I need something done, it will take me a search, maybe a conversation, some manual labor, and it is done. There is no more complication than that. We complicate it as humans, I think, 100%, without a doubt.
We like to overcomplicate everything. And I think part of it is the paradox of choice. Now, when you walk into the supermarket, rather than being faced with 3 different types of jam, you've got 20 different types of jam. And what that does is it puts you in a state where you've got so much access to choice, you don't know what choice to make. Because there's so many different stimuli coming at you. Our brains use up so much resources that they have to make lazy decisions from time to time. Otherwise, we'd wake up, and after 10 decisions before we even left the door, our brain would already be low battery.
Everyone would need siestas 10 times a day.
Exactly. So it really is just about keeping things simple. What is it that we say? We can't agree on how it's said, but kiss.
I say kiss. Keep it stupid simple. What's your term?
Say kiss. Keep it simple. No, keep it stupid. Keep it stupid simple. That's it.
Yeah.
I say keep it stupid simple.
I got my version of it from the office that I used to work at in London. Right. So I'm gonna hit one of the office boys up next week and see if I've got it wrong or not. But I'm pretty sure they used to teach me in Sales 101. Keep it stupid simple.
Let's not overcomplicate it. It means the same thing.
But it's a good tool, so I want to clarify what it means.
Absolutely.
100%.
So by keeping it simple, you allow yourself the freedom to have more mental capacity to make better decisions and to use that mental energy that you've got on more creative tasks.
Yeah.
ChatGPT takes a lot of the thinking out of what it is, takes a lot of the thinking out of certain questions. Or, for example, it can explain a topic in much simpler terms. And through the power of conversation, you can learn a subject much more easily than just by loading up a web page that is full of information about it. It kind of bleeds the information to you slowly in more manageable chunks. You take a chunk, you process it, you think about it, and then you ask the next prompt. And I think by having that logical thought process, things are much more easily digestible. In a nutshell, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, 100. No, you're right. Because if you think about it, if you go to search term on Google and you Google something, I believe it's sort of World Wide Web. You get a wide variety of things that you can look through. And even that, as humans, we've got lazy. It could take hours to read all the information we need to. Where if you prompt ChatGPT in the right way, it will give you the information you need rather than all the information that... It's like a book, right? You read a whole book and sometimes there ain't actually sometimes I would just like scroll through a book. I'll quickly read through it.
A lot of times, yeah. A lot of times
you don't need a lot of the pages.
Yeah. I'll buy a Kindle book, and rather than... I used to get hung up on the fact that, you buy this Kindle book and you're meant to go through it as it's intended from page 0 to page 200. But what I began to realize was actually... I might just be looking for a certain piece of information.
Yeah.
And so I can go into the book, find that information, extract it, and then at a later date, I might be looking for something within the same vein, but slightly different. And so I can dip back into the book. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not some competition of running around saying, oh, I read 50 books this year.
Yeah.
It's just about, okay, how are you utilizing the information that you're absorbing?
I'm massive on that. I am huge on that because I've read some books and I can hand on heart say that I may have not even used any of the value from the book that I've just read, if that makes sense. Like, it was just one of them reads I was reading because I actually enjoy reading, and I've read it and I've maybe not extracted value and used that value in the real world. But then there's been other books that I've read and I've used like everything in them. So it's that thing yet again of taking the tools that you're given and utilizing them to your full. But also going off the back of that, I want to talk about tools that people have that they potentially don't even realize, right? And what I mean by that is, for instance, social media, like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. The tools that these social media giants provide are absolutely insane. And it only took me until about, I would say when I was 16, 17, when I left school, to really understand the power and obviously be around certain people and how they was utilizing social media to excel their life in a completely different way. And I feel like, yet again, it comes down to awareness, because if you're not aware of this tool and you're using it for the wrong reasons, to gloat, to show off, like I was saying in the last episode, I was using it at one point and I weren't even using it to like get any monetary value. I was just using it for the basis of what it's used for, let's say Instagram, for sharing photos. But at the same time, it is a tool. Something that was built for entertainment turned into a tool. And we can use it now to, for example, if you're a business owner, like look what we do with the pod, right? We use Instagram for Reels to share value with our audience. We use TikTok for Shorts as well to share value with our audience. YouTube for the long form content. And all of a sudden, something that maybe 10 years ago would have been difficult to get into a crowd of 100 people, you can now potentially put in front of billions. And I don't think some people realize that. And I feel like they need to be more aware.
You just said something which I disagree with, and that was that social media was made for entertainment. I disagree with that. Social media was made for connection. But what it's become is a source of entertainment for people. And that is where people are going wrong. Because this is an issue. Have you heard of, I believe, don't quote me, the Chinese version of TikTok, Douyin?
Douyin.
Have you heard of that?
No, I've not. No.
I could be wrong, but...
Is it the app that you're talking about and they have it all on one?
It's the, yeah. All I know is that China have a version of TikTok called Douyin.
Yes.
And that version of TikTok is very different to the version of TikTok that we have.
Okay.
I believe they lock the app after between certain hours.
Wow.
To limit when the users can access it. And also the type of content which they show on the For You page is educational. But what the government have done is said, okay, if we just roll this out to the masses, they're going to use this mindlessly. They're going to use it to post things which don't develop them, which don't make them think, which don't help them learn. So we need to come in and control this and moderate what goes on the For You page. Now, in the Western world, we believe in our freedoms and our own sovereignty. And that's why the government have said, you know what, this technology's here. Use it however you want to use it. If you want to post memes, post memes. If you want to sit there and consume memes all day, consume memes all day. If you want to use it to look at Instagram baddies, use it to look at Instagram baddies. Do whatever you want to do. The technology's there. And I think people lack the self-control. And I'm speaking to myself because I have the tendency to do the very same thing. These apps make it very easy to get caught in this entertainment trap. But if you can break out of that, and I heard a new way of dealing with social media and Instagram, TikTok, those apps. And you know the concept of intermittent fasting, right?
Yeah.
So intermittent fasting with food, you'd have your feeding window. It might be 12 till 6 o'clock. You eat within that window. And then for the rest of the time, you don't eat any food. Why don't we apply that same strategy to social media? So you just set your window where you use it. And then during that time, when you're using it, you use it intentionally and you say, right, during this time, I'm going to spend, say, an hour or two consuming. Because don't get it twisted. You need to consume the right things in order to learn.
Yes.
If you sat in a white room all day and didn't interact with anything, you wouldn't learn anything. So you might hear the way that Alex Hormozy speaks, or he might speak about a subject which piques your interest, and then you go and research that and learn a little bit more, and you learn something that perhaps he didn't cover but is relevant to what he covers, and then you use that to craft a unique message, and then you think, well, I've benefited from this, I've applied it in my life, it's really helpful, now I'm going to share that message with my followers, and all of a sudden you're producing value.
Yeah.
So it really is about looking at, okay, social media is a tool. It's a tool of connection. I can connect with you when I'm across the country, when I'm in a different country. I can connect to the CEO of a business. I can use it to ask somebody to come on this podcast that in my normal life, I wouldn't have necessarily got the opportunity to meet.
Do you feel then that it wasn't made for entertainment then?
No, it wasn't made for entertainment.
You don't think it was developed for entertainment?
No.
I'd say it's app dependent. Dependent on the application at hand, right? Because obviously I've got a bit of a background in app development and I've studied apps. I would say, I would beg to differ. Some apps are made for entertainment. Social media, let's say TikTok, that is made for more entertainment than it is connections. Facebook, if you've watched The Social Network, and if you haven't at home, go watch it. Right, great film. I rewatched it the other night, funny enough. That was made for connection. The whole thing of Facebook stemmed from people connecting at Harvard University. And that's what I'm saying. So when it comes to things like that, Facebook connecting. Instagram was built for people to share their photos, like a live photo book as such. That it was like the core idea of Instagram. All of a sudden, it turned into this monopoly. And I would say, yeah, again, you're probably right in regards to Instagram. It comes down to connecting with people. You connect with people over photos. And the reason how you'll notice this is because how you use different apps as a person. Someone's personality, and this is going to sound crazy, right? Someone's personality on Instagram may be completely different to what their personality is on TikTok. And if you look at this, this is something I've studied. People will use Instagram different to they use TikTok. And people won't be the same person as they are on TikTok on their LinkedIn, right? And I know that apps are all made for different things as well, so I understand. But at the same time, that's what I mean. Some apps aren't made for entertainment. They're made to keep you hooked. Look at how TikTok has been designed. The product development has you swiping 15-second videos. There is nothing at all that says that that is not entertaining. Only the small masses use it for the beneficial purposes of sharing content like us, right? Or ads. They're pumping ads on there to get more revenue into the company. Very, very, very little of the world use it and put it in their toolbox as a tool. And I think people need to be aware of it as well. They're consuming. I see plenty of people on a day-to-day basis, maybe half hour while I'm working and I'm looking at people, just swiping, bro. If that's not entertainment, then what is it? That's a controlled mind of entertainment. It's just as bad as Netflix.
TikTok wouldn't thrive unless it didn't allow people to connect. I guess I see where you're coming from. It is an entertainment machine.
Yes.
But that's through connecting with people's content. Because if you think about it, if everybody in the world just all of a sudden snap their fingers, right? I snap my fingers, and now everybody who's creating on TikTok is posting only tutorials or educational or factual videos, right?
Yeah.
It kind of changes what that machine is producing. It becomes an entertainment machine. It's still, I mean, because learning is a form of entertainment, really.
Yeah.
It is a form of entertainment.
Yeah, I can see that.
So it's just the value that you're extracting from it, what you're taking away from it. And I think if I watch 10 different people dance to the same trend, I'm not really extracting much value that I can apply to my life.
You're using it as an entertainment purpose rather than a tool.
Exactly.
Then, yeah.
Exactly. So I think that at the same, I think it's just, look, if you see what everything actually is, then you can begin to use it in the right way. McDonald's is not nutritious food. But if you're flying along the M-way and you need to top the tank up, sometimes you got to get a little cheeseburger and chips. It just keeps you going. You know?
I hear you.
That's a tool. You can't... Anybody that survives solely off of McDonald's is not a healthy individual, because our body cannot thrive off of that. But at the same time, it's a tool. It's food.
I would say what I've gained from that then is that pretty much everything we use, from the cup that you're drinking,
a tool.
Is a tool, right? So everything that we use as humans is a tool.
Yeah.
It is your job as an individual to identify how useful the tool can be for yourself.
And if you don't need a hammer, put the hammer down. Like, it's that simple. It's that simple. So many people are on social media when they really don't need to be on social media. You know, like they don't need to be on social media because they're not producing anything beneficial to the
What, like
space.
the accounts that are just like 0 photos posted, followers and followers?
It's not even that. It's just Tom down the road,
Yeah,
who uses it to find the next OF girl that he wants to subscribe to,
yeah.
memes, and maybe to chat to his friends.
Like that. Then what you're saying is Tom has a rusty tool in his toolbox.
No, I'm saying Tom has a tool which he doesn't know how to use, and he should put the tool down and go get some education.
Yeah, no, I hear you. All right, going off tools, yeah, and getting back to the subject of tools. What are some useful tools that you would say you use on a day-to-day basis? And what you use them for? I think this would be good for the audience.
All right, okay. So my laptop, handy tool.
Of course.
I can access the
Tech
World Wide
101.
Web. Lots of money to be made on the World Wide Web. So whether I'm using that as a tool to access educational content,
Yep.
to learn, to get different thoughts and opinions, to learn how to cook. I've cooked plenty a meal using a YouTube video.
Chef in Haviguan.
Yeah, Chef in Haviguan. On my phone, Instagram, to connect with new clients for my management agency.
Yep.
To post me, to develop my personal brand.
That's a big one.
TikTok. I don't really use TikTok.
Well, we use TikTok for the podcast.
Well, we use TikTok for the podcast, but personally, I dabble in it, but I never go on there to consume unless I'm going on there to look for trends which I can then copy and then put my own spin on to develop my personal brand.
Yeah.
And then other than that, I would say I use my phone mainly for connection. Now, don't get it twisted. I do go on my Instagram and sometimes I get caught up in a little meme stream. It just happens.
Is that what you call it?
A meme stream, yeah. Because it's so in your face. Because at the end of the day, these apps, they just want to keep you on it.
They want to keep you hooked.
So they serve you up content, which your little lizard brain is just like, yes, give me that. That's what they do.
Yeah.
And it is difficult to snap the cord and be like, get yourself into a place of awareness. And I think that's why you have to be very selective about when you go on, so that you if your window of consuming Instagram is between 2 till 4 o'clock, for example, you've allowed yourself time to get caught in a couple of meme streams. You've given yourself that window to maybe do a little bit of mindless consumption, but at the same time, you're not burning through your entire day.
Yeah. I think it just depends what goals you have in mind and what you want to be doing. If you've got a couple of hours to spare and go on a meme stream, as you call it, then be my guest. But I can't use tools that way, me personally. I can't. I've probably caught myself doing it a few times, but I'll punish myself. Bulking off the demons. Like, tools for me, let me think, from like the minute I wake up, obviously phone wakes me up, alarm clock. Right? That's a tool there right now. Clock app on the iPhone. I'm up straight away. I check my emails. Email is a powerful tool. Extremely powerful tool.
Bank balance first.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I burn that number into my head. First thing, wake up, check your bank balance.
Yeah.
If it ain't a meal, boy.
Motivate yourself.
Lab.
Yeah,
now.
lab time. Yeah, no, but then, so... bank balance, that's a big one, to be fair. Even that, online banking, crazy, right? Like,
yeah,
I remember growing up, we didn't even have that. Like, we generally didn't. The banking process was so long, and now we got crypto, thank God, hallelujah. But Canva is an extremely, extremely powerful tool that is giving every human on this planet that wants to make an excuse to make content for their business, no excuse no more. If you cannot make content, any form of content using Canva, then you need to go on YouTube and use that tool to learn how to use Canva. Or even better, Canva have a Canva Academy within the app where they teach you how to use Canva. Like, there is literally no excuses there. Canva's a big one, 100%.
Canva is a big one.
Yeah, obviously you use Premiere Pro to do the final edits.
Yeah.
That's a big one for photo editing.
Video. Yeah.
Can you photo edit though? No. That's Adobe Photoshop.
That's Adobe Photoshop. No,
Adobe Photoshop.
I'm not. I know how to get around, but I don't typically use it too often.
Yeah.
Another one is I like to just go bare bones. Computer programming. I think that's a skill that so many people... I'm a big believer of this, but I just feel like it should be like English now. In school, computer programming just should be something that every student knows how to do to some degree, because it is so powerful. And with the prevalence of AGI becoming more and more in our faces, ChatGPT 4 isn't perfect, but it's a good go at a form of AGI. And when we get to ChatGPT 15 or wherever they're going to take it, wherever OpenAI want to take it, when we get there, AGI is going to be next level. And it's coming for so many people's jobs. And I think the only way that many of us are going to be able to escape being replaced by AGI is by learning how to create machine learning models.
Yeah. Or even just keeping up to the date with the AI models.
Yeah, and
because obviously, like ChatGPT, for example, it don't work as a tool without the human prompting it.
That's very true.
So we do need the humans. And for everyone at home, go learn to use ChatGPT for sure.
And actually, I've recently learned that there is a wrong and a right way to prompt that tool. So you can actually, even when it comes to generating, strings of text, people are clocking on and saying, oh, that sounds like how ChatGPT would structure an answer.
Yes.
But there's actually a way to prompt it to get it to write an answer as if it was a human being.
It's funny you say that, because on LinkedIn now, a lot of job posts are saying, like, if you've used ChatGPT to write a cover letter, do not apply.
Really?
Yeah, bro. I promise you.
Really?
Yeah, they're on it. Because I suppose maybe it's writing it in a certain way where you can sort of gather that it is AI. Like, it's almost too good to be human.
That's crazy.
It's that good of a tool. It's almost too good to be human.
That is crazy.
Because think about some of the times we used it to do some copywriting or stuff, and it's come out and we're like, wow, we could have sat here for 2 hours and stressed over what to write on this.
This is what I'm saying, though. I'm telling you now, likability, communication is going to take over. Because all of this is going to do is make people more and more lazy. That is what it's going to do. People are going to become more and more lazy. People are going to think less. They're going to write less because ChatGPT does it all for them. So when it comes to articulating themselves in front of people, that's how they're going to speak. I'm telling you now. And this is where it comes in. You need to learn how to be charismatic. You need to learn how to use the English language. And then another language. Be a polyglot.
Another tool.
Sake.
Duolingo. Learn a language.
Duolingo. But do you get what I'm saying? The world is going to change. And the very fact that people are like, don't apply if you're using ChatGPT to write a cover letter, I think we might end up going backwards. It's because it's going to be the individual that just buses into the office and says, hi, I'm Niall. Here's a resume of what I've done. In fact, tell me about a problem that you're having right now. Let's see how I would approach and solve it. I think they're going to be the individuals which actually start to get somewhere, because with all of this email stuff, and it's not personal. Quick sidetrack. This is the issue with dating, is that these dating apps, they don't sell people well enough. So all of these girls are looking and being like, well, he's not as good looking as the last guy. He's not as good looking as the last guy. Oh, he's not 6 foot tall. Gone. But in reality, if you were there, stood in front of them, cracking joke, busting a little smile, a little cheeky wink, and saying, hey, how you doing? You're beautiful. This, that, and the other. Absolutely spreading it on like butter. They're going to crumble like absolute putty, because it boils down to, how do you sell yourself as an individual? People love human connection. That's why we do all of this stuff, because we just want to be accepted. We just want to be loved and accepted. That's why everybody does everything that they do, because they want to be regarded by humanity as somebody important.
Obviously, you work in construction, right? So you might be able to finish the quote in my head that I'm thinking, but I'm pretty sure there's a quote in the construction site, like, a worker's only good as his tools. Is that correct? Yeah. So I think that's the same for all the tools out there now as well, right? The person working it is only as good as the tool that they are controlling. So if you generally don't have, let's say, any communication skills, and you don't really know how to handle yourself, and you're relying on tools a bit too much, like, you're literally relying on tools to control your life, ChatGPT, I don't know, Canva, alarm clocks, AI, everything like this, and then you get put into that real world situation, you're really going to struggle. So I think it's important. Don't burn out your tools. Don't forget, the person who controls them is the one who has the overall power, and that is who's going to lead the final outcome, right? Because if, like you say, if someone's going on ChatGPT and they're landing all the job interviews, right, but they get on that Zoom call and they can't even speak properly and articulate themselves, boy, they're never actually going to get a job. So it's a dilemma, really.
And I think this is what is going to be overlooked, and people really need to look out for it, because I feel this within myself. Nowadays, when you're walking along the road, you walk past somebody and they say, oh, afternoon, you're almost surprised. I don't know whether it happens to you very often, but you know, sometimes somebody will say, "Oh, good afternoon," or "Nice day." That
I'm normally the one saying it.
Well, this is what I'm saying.
I can't stand people who are just like not locked in.
But so many people will just walk past each other and only interact when they need to interact. And the presence of the internet and everything becoming more and more online is segregating people to the point where now they don't know how to connect with individuals. They don't know the basic etiquette for dealing with a human being.
Yeah.
And it comes through practice, and it comes through going up to 10 random people and saying, "Hi, how you doing?" I did it the other day. I was sat on a chair. It was a Monday, beautiful sun. I was by the beach getting a coffee, and there was some old woman behind me. And I was like, you know what? I turned around to her. I sat down. I said, you look like you've lived a good life and a long life. What's one piece of advice that you can give to me that I can take on this journey, and hopefully it will help me in some way? And she bust a gem. And I'm not even going to share the gem because you need to go out and do that
share
yourself.
the gem.
I'm not even going to
Can you share it with me after?
Yeah, I'll share it with you after. But the point is that you have to go out and get the intel, and you have to put yourself out there and be unafraid to just speak to people.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is at the end of the day.
That's a great one there. There is plenty of intel to be leaked, but you've got to go get it, right?
You have to go get it. And you can sit behind your screen all damn day, but nothing beats a conversation with some randomer in a coffee shop that just sparks from nothing.
Yeah. Rapport. That's a massive tool. That's a massive tool. That's something we teach in IOI. Building rapport. That's one of the first things that I was taught in one of my first proper career jobs. Rapport. Building rapport with customers. Sales 101.
Sales 101.
Sales 101. If you can't build rapport in life, on the phone, doing sales, over the internet, in person, you're going to struggle with human communication in general. You need to be able... It's how we make friends. It's how our whole life is structured on rapport. From when you're a kid to when you're an adult. Even when you're little, you communicate over these little things, and that is building rapport. You may like the same toy as another child. All of a sudden, you've got that mutual connection there. So if you don't know how to build rapport, go on the internet, use a tool, and learn how to build rapport.
No, that's
or
not
jump
the
on
way.
the phone.
That's not... Certain tools, you just have to go out and just... You get it by doing...
Or go to a networking event then.
Yeah.
Go out and talk to someone. Say, this weekend, I'm going to a networking event in any city across the world, right? And I'm going to talk to 100 people. Even if you don't have a business or a product.
No, I was going to say bonus points if the networking event is completely unrelated to what is your comfort spot.
Yeah, you're like your niche.
If you're in construction, go to a networking event
in tech.
In tech. Something like that. Because that's the other thing is... What I'm realizing is that it's overlaps. So, I mean, I'm partially in the construction industry, but I'm also big into tech. And I want to start bridging the gap and integrating the skills that I have in technology with the skills that I have within the construction industry, because that is a USP. Somebody who just knows loads about construction and somebody who knows loads about tech. There's no bridge which bridges the gap. So if you know a bit about that and a bit about that and you can integrate them together, all of a sudden you're merging two industries, and that's a whole new USP that you can bring in.
It's funny you say about construction and tech, because I actually read something yesterday. So there is a project. It is called... This is going to bug me if I don't get it. But basically, it's a crypto project. It's a blockchain project. And the other day, the very first property was tokenized and sold off as tokenized asset. So this property was split into many tokenized assets and sold off bit by bit. I think it was like $20 for each bit of this property, and it was like 10,000 different NFTs as such. tokenized assets, and people buy it, and then depending on how many buy, you get a rental yield back on your tokenized asset.
That's crazy.
But yet again, that's someone out there who's had a great idea, utilized all the tools that we have out there today, and come up with something absolutely revolutionizing. That is absolutely insane. That you can go buy a piece of a property. Like, imagine what that does for the younger generation, right? People who can't afford to get onto the ladder. All of a sudden, you can go buy this tokenized asset, so you haven't got to leave your house. They do all viewings virtually. They tell you everything about the property, and it's all recorded on the blockchain. So it's completely public, right? All the information, all the bills, everything. Every time it comes in, it's on the blockchain. So everything's there to be seen publicly. And young adults such as ourselves, if you don't have the money to go put 50 grand down on a property in London, you can go put £50 in. All right, your 10% back would only be like a £5 a month. But obviously, the more you put in, the more you're going to get back. But you could buy loads of different these tokenized and potentially own 50% of a house. Just like that, from a click of the button.
That is crazy.
That is crazy. And that is, I would say that is fucking literally what we're talking about in this episode right now. Someone has utilized them tools and thought, okay, we have blockchain. They have someone clearly who knows about construction. What can we do here to piece the two together? It's just like Elon, right? He took something, the car, that someone ain't done in a very long time. No one started a successful company in a very long time for cars. He took something so simple as an electric engine, put it in a car, made it work, and now look at Tesla. It's like destined to be one of the biggest car companies in the world. And it's changing the way that we do things. Hyperloop. I know you're not a massive advocate on Elon.
I hate the Hyperloop. I think it's a dumb idea. And they should just build a subway system. But
yeah,
I digress. Ultimately, I want to sum this up nicely. Start looking at everything as your life. Everything within your life as a tool that either is going to use you or you can use. And when you start looking at things as tools, you see the value in them when other people may not.
Rather than picking something up mindfully, you're going to pick them up in your head and think, okay, I'm picking up a tool now. It's just like a hammer. You pick up a hammer with an incentive to use it the way it's meant to be used.
Intentionally.
Yeah, intentionally.
You pick up that hammer, you carry out a job, and then you put it down. And I think approach more situations with that mindset, and you'll begin to feel less insecure about the fact that, hey, I might not have the flashiest thing, but it does the job.
Yeah.
And when you're using a tool as directed, nobody can say shit. Like, nobody can say shit, because it doesn't matter whether you have the latest iPhone or an iPhone from 3 years ago. If you had the latest iPhone, and let's say you're using it to edit shorts through CapCut.
Yeah.
Okay, one might get it done slightly faster.
Yeah, processing power.
But you're still utilizing the tool.
Yeah.
And so somebody can come to you and say, oh, you don't have the latest iPhone. So I get it done.
Yeah.
I get what I need to do done with the tool. And that's that. And then I put the tool down and I move on with my day.
Yeah, I hear you. Don't worry about if the tool's a bit outdated. As long as it gets the job done.
You can always invest in a new tool when the time comes.
I think that's what successful people have down to a T, right? They use the tools that surround them to their advantage, and they know how to use them. And in some cases, extreme cases, people use tools to make tools that develop even bigger tools.
Exactly.
It's all about innovation.
Innovation. Don't reinvent the wheel. Innovate the wheel. It's that simple.
It is. No, definitely, bro. So when people are at home next time, or you're on your phone, or you're just out, or you're wanting to start a business, I would say to have a deep think, sit there, think about what assets and tools you have around you that you could use to make it happen. If you have a phone, you have no excuse to not make it happen.
And also, quick side note, ChatGPT is beautiful for identifying which tools you need in order to complete a certain project. When I'm tackling programming problems now, I'll go to ChatGPT and just say, okay, what modules do I need from I don't want to get too technical, but the point is if you want to start a business, you can say, okay, ChatGPT, I need to start this business. What things do I need in place? And it might say, okay, you'll need a Shopify store for the front end. You'll need an Instagram page for marketing. You'll need a payment processor, and it will lay everything out. And then you just need to go find the tools that are appropriate for the job and get the job done.
Then you need to go watch episode 1. Back to where it all began.
You need to watch all the episodes again.
Yeah, watch them all. But you need to go back to episode 1. Build your confidence and start taking action.
Damn straight.
Everyone in the Western world has no excuse as of today. I'm going to say it. No one in the Western world that has access to a laptop, a phone, or a digital device where we can access the internet has any excuse not to be the individual that they want to be and succeed. I've said it. I'm sticking by it as well.
I don't hear anyone arguing with that. And if you are, shut the fuck up.
But anyway, I think that's a great way to end it.
Beautiful episode. Beautiful conversation, Alf.
At home, I'm Bob the Builders. Look what's in your toolbox. Be aware. Stay aware. Episode 7.
It's been a good time. Remember, like, follow all the socials. Subscribe. 26 subscribers. Remember, we were saying we were trying to kiss 20. We've kissed 20.
We've kissed it.
We're going to kiss 30.
And you know what? I want to show a bit of homage because I feel like there's a certain group of people, because when we're dropping some episodes and we ain't even banged any marketing out yet, they're watching still. So shout out the real supporters that are just dropping in, watching the episodes. Like I say, for me and Niz, this is a long-term play. We're just here to drop value from our lives as we're going through it. So love, subscribe.
And make sure you comment. Give us some feedback as well. We always want to innovate the space. Topics, questions, whatever you've got, lay it on us.
I'm even going to say, if you ever want to personally message either one of us about topics that we've discussed, even today about tools and ChatGPT, be more than happy to have a chat.
We want to talk. We want to connect.
We want to connect.
Social media is for connection.
We have the tools. Let's connect.
Right, but anyway, peace.
Intel leaked.